It's gonna take a few seconds. Connecting right now with the live stream, YouTube. It's gonna take a few seconds. Connect. All right. Okay, we are gonna be recording too, and then the floor is yours. Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay, Nilbert, are you ready to rock and roll?
Always ready, George. Always ready.
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, it's recording on the stream.
Recording now? Okay. All right. Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. And it's one day closer to what are we at now? About 8 weeks to convention? Yeah?
Yeah, 8 weeks.
Yes, yes, it's really, really
Eight.
exciting, and that actually has a lot to do with the topic today. But before I even get to that, um, let's open it up. Anyone who has something very exciting to share, new team member, new rank, new prospect, anyone, feel free to share if you have, anything you just want to share with the group and with the community. We'll have a couple of shares before we get right down to the topic. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want. Anybody? All right. Well, I have something to share. Um, so lately I've been, one of the resources I've been using to grow my business is to really to really get more active with social media, right? So I do a lot of posts. I try to be very consistent. I'm still not there yet where I want to be, where I'm doing just the regular, like, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 stories a day, 1 to 2 reels a week, stuff like that. But anyway, I am getting a little bit of traction, so I'm very happy to share that with you. So there's this one person who liked one of my reels. This was over the weekend, actually a few like sometime last week. And so I was scrolling through the people who, you kind of see like who kind of viewed your reels and all that. And I saw this person. I didn't know the person, so I kind of clicked on the name and then I messaged basically, hey, thank you for liking my reel. And that's all I said. And then the person got back to me, yes, I love your content and all that. And then I looked up the profile. So the person lives in Torrance, and she's a nurse practitioner who owns her own um, like clinic, I guess, or works in a clinic where she does, skincare treatments and all that. So I said, oh my goodness, kind of like the same industry. So I said, hey, I just looked at your profile. I'm so excited because we're actually in the same industry, health and wellness and skincare. Maybe we can collaborate. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, we started going back and forth. I invited her to attend the Brea event last Saturday, but she had a lot of clients, so she couldn't, drive all the way to Brea from Torrance. It's about a 45-minute drive. So I said, well, guess what? Do you have any openings in your schedule? She said she had a 30-minute opening, like at 3 p.m. I said, well, I'm gonna go there and check your clinic out and all that. So I drove there, made the connection. Kind of we talked a little bit, and then we're getting on a Zoom this week. So I share that to share that using all the resources you have, you never know which prospect you can get, whether through social media or even warm chatter in person, right? So yeah, I see Frida and George both. So Frida, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, thank you, Nilbert. I'm excited watching you guys in California. You are just on fire. So I want to welcome Anne, who's on, is a BA, who has brought on Marcella, who has brought on George, and they're all on the call this morning, and they're all working toward their 43. So congrats to them. We're excited for them.
Congratulations. That's amazing. I know, Frida, you've been growing that side of the that side of the country ever since. Like it's always like Ocala, right? Ocala and then
Yes,
surrounding
yes.
area. Yep, yep.
Can I tell a little story about something? You and I and Gary were on stage at the very first.
Oh, sorry. You got muted. Sorry, sorry.
I got you. I got it.
There
I
you
saw.
go.
So we were standing on the very back of the stage with you at the ribbon cutting, and we looked at each other and we said, "We will travel the world together." And
Exactly.
guys, we
I
are.
remember that.
I do too. I do
I
too.
remember that. It's amazing. Yep, yep,
And we've all been doing the do, making it work, making it happen, and just counting our blessings. And yes, we absolutely will. And no,
yep.
you're amazing. Thank you, sir.
And we're just starting, and we are
Oh,
just
yes,
starting.
we are
George,
just
you had
beginning.
your hand raised.
Oh yeah, it's something that happened yesterday, and it's so important. We have to talk to everybody. I was mentioning to a group before. One of our friends, she's moving to Austin. She's part of three, and she came here with her two dogs, and she was walking her two dogs in my neighborhood. And then there's somebody that's one of our neighbors. We don't know them very well that have the same dog that she has. And then when she started saying, George, George, well, they want to know more about the business. We have a presentation this afternoon, and it's my next door neighbor. You have to talk to everybody. Imagine she's sponsoring. Of course, the cool thing is part of our team, etc. But she's sponsoring my next door neighbor.
You just never know, right? You just never know.
And it's a perfect situation because he works from the internet, selling mostly insurance, etc. on the internet. But he said he's tired of it and he's looking for something that's residual. Imagine cash
Yeah.
residual, and then he said I have a lot of contacts, and then he says something else. When I talked to him, he said, wow, great, the internet, we have many ways to connect, and the guy's excited. He said, but let me tell you, I love also to talk to people in person. The perfect person. I used to be a bartender. I love to talk to people. I have a live. Can we bring friends to this? Of course you can.
That's amazing. That's
And it's my
amazing.
neighbor. It's why we have to talk to everybody. But
Yep.
anyway, I just
Yep.
wanted to
You,
say
you just
that.
never know. Okay, so well, like I mentioned earlier, today's topic has to do with the fact that we're only 8 weeks away from convention, right? So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the power of these events and why we need to be attending and why we need to be inviting. Now, inviting and attending these events, that's actually two topics that, go hand in hand. Today, I'm going to concentrate a little bit more on the power of events and why we go to them, as opposed to the actual invite process. I know we have a lot of training on how to invite and all that. Actually, yesterday I was listening to Adrian. Adrian, gave us, several different examples of like just how to kind of get people to attend a Zoom, attend an event, and all that. So today I'm just gonna concentrate a little bit more on the power of showing up, why attending events build your business. Okay. And then actually at the end of this, I am going to uh, ask for a few experiences of like when you attended your very first event and what that did for your business. Okay, so why do events matter? Well, events are the heartbeat of this business. Is that, does that kind of like resonate with you guys? I mean, event for those of you who have been to our launches, who have been to our conventions, or even to our overseas events, it's the heartbeat of the business. This is where people get motivated. This is where people get excited, right? Because belief is built through experience, not explanation. For those people who have never been like this, maybe you're new and all that. When you're talking to your upline, your sponsor, your teammate, and they're trying to explain to you, oh yeah, it's so amazing. You get there, there's so much energy. Words can only like, go so far. It's kind of like trying to explain being attending live concert. Let's say, you're one of those, back then when you attended a Michael Jackson concert, you try to explain to someone how it feels, and it's just, it never compares to the experience, right? Because events deliver emotion, energy, edification, and environment, right? There's so much emotion for sure. Definitely a lot of energy. You get to know your leaders. You get to know the different people who are already doing the do, and who are already very successful, and yet you get to know them on a more personal level, and find out that at some point in time, they started out just like we did, right? They're nothing special except for the fact that they never quit. They just kept on, doing the business, right? So if you're serious about building a big business, you don't miss events. You promote them. Okay. So belief building, strengthens belief in yourself, the product, and profession. That's what events do. It basically, I still remember the first time, I attended, well, it started with the launch, right? Um, I got to meet Daniel for the first time. I got to meet a lot of the leaders for the first time. That's where I actually met Christine for the very first time. I think Christine still remembers. We were standing in a line during a break in front of, I think it was the hot dog stand or coffee stand or something. And of course, I already know about Christine at that point because, we've already heard about her. We've already, kind of people have been talking about her. So I said, Christine, I'm so honored to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. And Christine, I still remember every single word Christine told me that day. That really, it'll be forever, with me because, what she told me that day, set me on a path to really have that belief in myself, right? So, you get to believe in the products, and you get to believe in the industry. You get to hear so many success stories that expand your vision and validate the opportunity. So, um, like, outside of convention, outside of events, you hear stories within your team, right? But once you go to these big events and meetings and all that, you get to hear stories from all over, right? Earlier, Frida was just sharing, the first time we met at the very first at the launch, right? And Frida's has a lot of success stories all the way from her side of the US in the East Coast in Florida, right? So you get to hear stories from other teams. So edification and exposure, why is this like really significant? Okay. Third party credibility builds trust faster than personal invites. Read that again. Third party credibility builds trust faster than personal invites. And that is so true in everything that we do, even in the very very basic concept we do of establishing three ways, right? When you do follow up. So, for example, if I have a really like earlier, I was sharing the contact I made, that the nurse practitioner who owns a clinic. When I get her to a Zoom, I'm going to actually set her up with a Zoom with one of the leaders here. I'll get on their calendar and have them do the presentation for that person. Now, can I do the presentation? Of course, I can do the presentation, right? But third party credibility, rather than me telling her, oh, hey, because I was the one who made contact with her, right? It's gonna come across as I'm trying to sell her something. I'm trying to, get her to enroll, and it's basically going to be a lot more effective if I have like another leader who does the presentation because of that third party credibility thing. And it works exactly the same way when you attend events on a larger scale, right? You get to hear the leaders that we have, you get to hear from Kim, from Samson, you get to hear from Daniel, the leaders that are like really at the helm of our company. You get to know them. You get to basically find out where they come from and all that. and it gives a lot of credibility for our company, especially for new guests that you invite to the event, to attend the event with you, right? So hearing from leaders builds belief in what's possible because they've been there, they've done it, and we can see where they're at, whether it's 5 star, 6 star, right? Or gold, is it gold diamond? What is Kim now? Like, she's our only, I think it's gold diamond, right? Our first diamond in the company. So you hear from these leaders and you get to see the potential. You get to see what's possible in your own business. Connection and community. And this is probably one of the really most important parts of events as well. Attendees feel part of something bigger than themselves. That definitely, for me as a retired military, that definitely, it's something that I'm so blessed to still be able to experience. Because after retiring from the military, during that part of my career, I definitely felt, I was definitely part of something bigger. But now I feel that not only am I, in that situation again where I'm part of something bigger, I'm actually part of something even bigger than my military career. That's how I feel about this. And then team bonding, strengthens retention and commitment. So experiences that your team get to do, events that you get to do, because I know all the different teams when they converge on the convention in June, they have their own events, right? I know we're going to have our own team event during one of those days. So it builds, it strengthens the bond, right? And promotes team cohesiveness. Recognition and motivation. So public recognition fuels internal motivation, right? When One thing we do a really great job of the company, I'm referring to the company, when we do these events, they really recognize all the different achievements, right? The different ranks, the different what do you call that? If we had any promos going on and all that, the different people who qualified for these promos, like for the trips, it all gets splashed on the big screen and all that. So public recognition, yes, like some people say, oh, I don't need to be publicly recognized. But the truth of the matter is, part of human nature, public recognition fuels internal motivation. The more people get motivated, okay? When you see others win, it also sparks the desire to grow, right? You see other people, oh, they've achieved this, they've achieved it. It gives you a sense of, okay, well, I want to be there too. I want to get there too. So it really fuels the desire, right, to grow. And then duplication. How many times have we heard this word, right? Duplication. It's part and parcel of everything that we do. Events drive team momentum and commitment. One thing you're going to notice with whenever we have events, okay, you're going to notice certain trends in your business, right? So the company usually comes up with promotions leading up to an event, right? And you can see an uptick in activity, and then you have the event, right? And everyone's so motivated, everyone is so fired up. You see, the bar continues to rise, with activity in your team. And then usually during convention, the company releases new promos or new incentives or whatever to fuel that excitement, through convention and after. Okay. So every time, we work up to a convention and all that, you can see, activity increase in your business. So this is what drives momentum. Okay. And then this is what helps drive commitment also, because when people can see what's possible. Oh wow, I had a really couple of good weeks that, during that time. So I can do it again, right? So it drives both momentum and commitment. Attendees are more likely to follow the system and invite others because they've seen it for themselves. They've experienced it for themselves, right? So how to maximize events. And this one refers to not just events, not just convention, but whatever event you're holding. Like in San Diego, like we hold monthly events here, right? I know in Palm Desert, Renee and her team also does the monthly Palm Desert event. And pretty soon we're going to add, hopefully, like maybe in May, like so we're gonna have two events in San Diego, one in the Southern County, like where we normally hold it right now, and then one in North County, like in Escondido area and all that, Temecula. So show up early. Show up early. Last Saturday we had the Brea event, okay, and it starts at 10. That's the first, like the English opportunity showcase starts at 10, and I get a WhatsApp message from Samson. Hey, Nilbert, drive safe from San Diego. I'll be there by 8:30 to help set up. This is the message that Samson gave me, right, or sent me. This is Samson, a six-star director, just right under Kim. Okay. He's going to get there an hour and a half to help set up, right? Showing up early, because that's what leaders do, right? Show up early, dress professionally. That goes without saying. When you're attending an event, how you dress, not only is it first impression, but it also indicates what kind of importance you give to this event, right? Um, I kind of remember like how it was in the military. Depending on what kind of event we're having, we wear an appropriate uniform to really convey how important we treat that event. So if we're attending an event that's really more formal and all that, we definitely go in our dress uniforms. So similar to here, if you're going to do an event, if you're doing an event, if you're going to to convention, you dress up appropriately, and then take notes. Always take notes, because there's so much information that's going to be put out that you don't want to miss. You don't want to kind of like forget, right? Capture and share content, photos, stories, and key takeaways. Well, this one, nowadays in our tech, in this age, everyone does that anyway. Phones, videos, and all that, all the time. So next, introduce guests to leaders. This is very, very important. Whenever you get an opportunity and you have a guest with you, whether it's a local event or whether it's convention, introduce them to leaders in your chain, right? Get them to, like last Saturday we had one of our brand new brand ambassadors, very young, very smart, very motivated individual. I think he's actually on the huddle right now, and I told him, hey, I'm glad that you're coming to the event because I really want to introduce you to Samson, right? And he got to meet Samson. He got to meet the other leaders there. And he even got to meet Tanya Valentin, one of the speakers, who's one of our new four-star directors. Leave with an action plan and share 3 takeaways. So basically, after attending an event, after attending convention, whatever event it is, you always, kind of have a plan to execute, right? All that excitement, all that motivation is good, but it doesn't do you any like it doesn't really help you if you don't take action on it. Does that make sense? I know sometimes it's kind of hard to, but it's the truth. You can get all motivated and all the music, all the energy and all that, but after that, if you don't take action, it really does not help your business. Okay? So duplicate the culture. Leaders attend and promote events consistently. Leaders show up consistently, right? Model the behavior you want to duplicate. If you want your team to do what you do, attending the events, and you attend the events and you promote it as well, right? And always promote the next event at the current one. What do we always say? The best event is the next event, right? The best event is the next event. So you finish an event, let's say today, hey, guess what? We're having another one, at this date and all that. So you already start promoting the next one. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing in shortly. quick action steps, definitely for whether you have another event, because we do have several events. Well, I'm not sure if we had any other events prior to convention. I think we do. Yeah, we do. We definitely, like, I know Dallas, Cinco de Mayo. I know our leaders are going to be there. Christine, George, they're going to be there. And then I think there are several other events. So there are other events prior to convention, but invite three teammates to commit to the next event, whichever that is. It could be a local event. It could be the event in Dallas. It could be, or it could be convention, right? Share your last event takeaway with your team or on social. Okay. Make it your goal to never attend alone again. Attending events is definitely, it helps inspire you, but always bring a guest, always bring a friend, always bring a teammate. Okay. All right. This is what I'm gonna bring, kind of like have, anyone who kind of wants to share or to basically, you can feel free to unmute, right? What's one breakthrough or belief shift you have had from attending an event? Share your experience and how it changed your mindset. Okay. So I'm gonna open it up. I know there's people here who've been to events, and more than one of you probably has memorable, like, what changed, like how did it inspire you, or how did it change your business? Please feel free to share with everyone. Hi, Janine. Yes.
Hi. Yes, I attended California, but 2 years ago now. Can you hear me?
Yes, you were breaking up for a little bit, but we can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh.
I attended the one in California almost 2 years ago, and I have to say that that was like a snap switch of your mindset. It's like I had been taking the products since that June, so just a few months, and I had great results with it, but I hadn't really embraced the business part of it yet. And so that opportunity to go to California and attend that event, and how down to earth our leaders are. They're approachable. They're, no matter what level they're at, they want to talk to you. They don't avoid you. They seek you out. I mean, it's just amazing. I've worked in large corporations before, and you'd be at an event and you'd see the, CEOs, and you'd be like, "Oh, there's so and so and so and so," and you never really even get to talk to them. Here we have access to them. And Dr. Dan, oh my goodness, to talk to the scientist, it's just incredible. And you will not get that unless you attend. You just can't replicate that. It's that energy that we have as humans connecting to each other in person. So I highly recommend it.
That's beautiful there, Janine. Yes, it's so true, so true. I saw Michelle's hand was up earlier. Did you want to share something, Michelle?
I don't know that Janine could have said it any better. I think it was my biggest thing. It was just the humbleness, the kindness, the energy, the team building, getting to know all these people that you see every day. But honestly, just being able to be around people that have the most humble hearts. There's no doubt about that. I think
Yes.
that's my favorite thing about this.
Yes.